Kimberly today?
No, she is.
Oh, okay. He called me, he texted me this morning. She's going to meet later, right?
She was, yes.
Hi, neighbor.
I know these chairs are a little crazy.
Yeah,
I like to drift.
Okay. Are we ready?
Hi. I think Haley's on Tracy's or somewhere for a second. Yeah. Well, she hopped back off, I guess. Well, she's not here to talk about herself, but I will. So Kimberly just joined us, and I think both. Yeah. 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 I think her actual email is like Kim.
Yeah.
So, super sweet. We're excited to have her. She's going to be in the mentor program, and I think that you are mentoring her. Yes. So, yeah, when you guys see her, well, if you don't see her, just text her and welcome her because she's very excited to be here. So.
Lots of birthdays. Julie, when's your birthday? Oh, May 11th. I didn't give you money. I don't like that.
Oh, you have a new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you eating sweet tarts? No. Huh? Well, they were. I slipped into a conversation. I was like, my payment is sweet tarts. Yeah. And I totally thought she wasn't gonna hear it. She totally heard it and thought, and she was like, where are you? I'm Wednesday. Here. See? Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Hey, hi.
It is Jen.
So yeah, just kind of a little mortgage minute for everybody. I know the big kind of buzz right now in the mortgage finance world is all the loan level pricing adjustment kind of misinformation out there. So with and basically a lot of people are thinking, hey, this is the Biden plan. We want to make, we're going to make it more expensive for borrowers with better credit and larger down payments. We're going to make it more expensive for them to provide a more affordable loan for people with lower credit, lower down payments. And part of it's true and part of it isn't. And so a lot of unfortunately, I talked to a lot of people who really thought that if they damaged their own credit, they would be getting better terms. And that's simply not the case.
I've got a few memes about that. And I was like, what are you?
Yes, honestly, I'm talking to a lot of people that are like, it's not fair. And it's like, you're still going to get the best deal. The better your credit score and the larger your down payments, that's always going to be the case. What had been happening in the past is that you were getting a much more significant discount to have that better pricing. So in the mortgage world, when we're talking to clients, basically the lower risk you can show that client is, the better terms that they're going to be getting. The clients with better credit scores and larger down payments are much less risky. So they were getting a very significant discount. That discount's just shrunk a little bit. It's not quite as good. And what they're really trying to do, they're trying to bring everybody a little bit closer together. So it does make homeownership more affordable for people who do need a little bit of help. The unfortunate part is it came off of a discount that the preferred credit client. So
could you like give roundabout dollar amounts? Like we're talking if someone's buying a $500,000 home, like just approximate. So when people are coming at us, we can be like, it's really like a $500 difference or
and not even that. It really kind of boils down to, we looked at a few different loan scenarios, and I think the most average one was on a $400,000 mortgage. It made about a $40 a month difference.
Okay.
So it's not huge, but it is something.
Over 30 years, that's significant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it only impacts conventional. So like no FHA, no VA, no USDA, only impacts Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, conventional loans. And there actually has been some pushback from some politicians in Arizona. So this may be totally just thrown out and we might go back to what it was. So just know that again, it is an impact a little bit, but again, pricing is so volatile, it bounces up and down all the time. Not a lot of different things out there.
The best thing to do is have
Yeah, always get in touch with the lender if they have questions or want to clear anything up, just to find out what their pricing might actually look like. But please don't let anybody tell you that they want to clear their credit down just so they can get a better deal. That's not gonna- And then one other point, I know a lot of, if you're talking with any sellers, right now, a lot of people have tons of equity with 2020, 21 home values appreciating. We've kind of stagnated, come down a little bit, but there's still tons of equity that people have. So if you have anybody that does want to buy a home non-contingent upon the sale of their home, we do have home equity line of credit options. I'm helping a couple of people out with those right now, using that equity as their down payment on their new home, with the plan to say, hey, I can buy this home, qualify for both mortgages, but once I've purchased my new home, sell the departing residence, pays off both the HELOC and the. So that's one way people are kind of getting a bridge loan that kind of helps that. But any questions on that? Anything?
What are rates right now? Today,
They
yesterday.
I would say the average rate right now is probably in the mid sixes. They were trending very nicely, like probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were in the high fives, low sixes, but we kind of shifted back up. But I do think there's some good news coming down the pipeline. May 10th is the date a lot of people have circled on their calendar. With the kind of the core pricing index that the Fed monitors. Basically, they look at year-over-year data. And so 2022 was a very high number. So when we compare these 2023 inflation numbers to last year, things should be looking a lot better. So hopefully we hit the end of the Fed rate hike cycle, and we'll start kind of the slower downward trend. I don't think we're going to be seeing anything back in the fours. Some experts are saying mid fours by the end of the year. I think that's overly optimistic, but I'll take a mid five rate would be great. So it's coming, but it might be 3 or 4 months before we see some relief.
And their meeting, the Fed meeting is July or June 8th or.
May 10th is the date that particular report is coming out. I think the Fed actually might be releasing some notes on their rate hike tomorrow.
Oh.
So Wednesday comes up. It seems like the markets right now are baking in another 0.25% rate hike, but that should be the last one before the downward trends. And that doesn't directly impact mortgage rates. That's more for things like credit cards, auto loans. It does impact the home equity lines that I was talking about there, but
So many people think it does, so it's like, it's hard to get around that.
Exactly.
Explain how it works.
Yep.
So it's-
always have them check with the lender, and they got questions or want to look at different scenarios, something specific. We're always happy to brainstorm for numbers nerds. So
How happy are you getting the big crawl funding?
no info on that yet. Not even with because essentially all the funds were reserved for escrows that were in process. I would imagine most of those at our office we funded out the majority of them. I think we still have 1 or 2 left over. But I would imagine not all those escrows closed. So there should be some funds left over. Whether those get dispersed back out into the public, there's not really been much of them yet. Calhap has been really inundated, so those loans are taking a little bit longer right now. So if you guys are working with anybody on down payment assistance, if you're writing an offer form, maybe you can err on the side of more time rather than less for days of escrow. Calhap is just really backed up. So it is taking a little bit longer, but still standard 30-day. I just wouldn't go any shorter. Well, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Me.
so the other day, I was talking with Katie, because I have a land listing in Forest Ranch, if anybody has a buyer for 5 acres. And we got an offer, and so I was like, oh, we should just have her do her disclosures now, and Katie was like, well, I kind of like to wait on those because they expire. And I was like, huh? So yeah, maybe I should have known that disclosures expire, but I did not know that. So I thought Katie could talk about a few things that maybe we should know, but that we don't know. Although we have a couple of you that do your own TC work. So, but did you know that?
I knew that they did that for a while. That was like 3 months.
Yeah.
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 Okay. I missed that part. I mean,
Yeah, I knew that they did.
real estate school.
Yeah. With all the other useless crap they throw at you, yeah.
So like, contract. Where you learn that, but 3 months, then you should definitely redo them. Probably what I'm seeing the most is the DITA. Has anybody seen that form? It's super fun. The designated electronic delivery addendum. It's at the very end, and it's literally just the checking the boxes on page 16 of the
Oh, the
contract,
RPA, yeah.
of the RPA. And if you don't check those 2 boxes, and both people have to check it, so both agents have to check the box saying how they want to have the electronic delivery, either whether email or phone, they can have both checked or one checked. If neither of them have them checked, you have to get the DITA form. And the DITA is just saying exactly what email and what phone number you can communicate with each other during the course of the transaction, and everybody has to sign it. So it's just one more piece of paper, but it does usually pop up towards the end because sometimes they go back and look at the contract and refer to something at the end of the contract, like the file reviewer specifically will go back and review the file, and they're like, oh, we need this. We're closing like in 2 days, okay.
Yeah, we were talking the whole time.
You could say this is the beginning. And so I see that a lot. So that form, it just kind of, it's hard because I have other offices that I've sent it to and said, hey, we need this signed. And they're like, we don't require it. I'm like, what do you mean you don't require it? It's on the contract. You definitely should require it. And they think it's an electronic delivery, like e-sign, like the e-sign disclosure, and it's not. So you have to explain it to them, but Remax is not requiring it. Neither is Century 21. And they are very particular and like, we're not signing. So just having that email saying that's what it is, that's something I see coming up a lot.
So if I was like EXP phone.
Yes.
Because they haven't called it out on me yet, and I have to say I haven't. Yeah, but they probably will, and it's
Yeah.
important to do it, but.
It's very important to do it because, and this is what I learned from the Doug Parkinson class, because he said, hey, this is coming up. And the reason why is if they send correspondence to your email or your phone talking about the contract, and then you guys go to mediation, the judge can be like, no, you need to do the hand deliver these, because if you don't have an email or correspondence that way, you're like, well, you actually weren't providing them with the documents, because somebody could say, well, I never got them, because it doesn't have your email on there and all of that. So when you're getting an offer, so say you're the buyer, or sorry, say you're the listing agent and you're receiving an offer and it has their information, but your information is not there. If you do not put your email and your phone number on there, you need to add that in, because you can't go back and add it in after everybody is signed. Then the DITA would be required. So just knowing that, so you guys have that at the top of your mind, so you get it done at the beginning and explaining to your clients. It's not saying that this is an electronic signature disclosure or advisory. It is literally just saying this is how we're receiving correspondence throughout the course of the transaction.
And that's what it says.
Yes.
I mean, that's what, it doesn't say, yeah, it was pretty clear.
Everybody has to make both clients, both agents. And I think it's done with the clients have to sign it, but because the agreement is not between the agents, that's why. So they're agreeing that that's how they're getting correspondence to them through the client, through the agent, and going in that circle.
What is it called again?
DEDA, the DITA, the
So you don't-
designated electronic.
You don't need it. About the.
You fill out the RPA correctly, then you right.
Yep.
Would you recommend throwing that in to like your email with the offer, just being like a special section saying, make sure you do this because our office is gonna require it, we need it.
In for them.
I usually, if I write an
But
offer.
I'm in for them.
Because if they're putting, if their MLS should have all that information on
Yeah,
there,
and you
that's
just
what they're
import
saying.
Yeah.
And you're putting that information,
Yeah.
they're verifying it's the same. If you've been texting them, put that number in there. And then check the boxes for them, and then you're done. Then you're not having to go back and fix it. You don't have
Well,
to
what
do anything.
boxes are you checking?
It says.
Well, if they put their, in
I
the
check
MLS, those
everything.
are what that's what they're
Oh,
saying.
there,
Yeah.
Auto
How about
populate.
after class or after meeting, we can bring, I have my computer, we can bring it up. Yeah, okay.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
I'm not,
Because on page 4.
I remember this, the box, I'm just,
Boxes, it says email address above, phone number above. And it's where you can text.
And I
them.
pick both.
Click them for both
Click both.
firing. And if you want the TC to receive the paperwork that way and it go through them, I prefer it to be where it goes to the agent and then you can go, like they can share it, and that's fine. So I've not had an issue where I'm receiving correspondence at all because I have an agreement with my agents. So, yeah, you don't necessarily need to have the alternate.
I will call, 'cause then if they send something to you, you could, maybe you could do it.
Yeah, so in your case, probably because you guys are a team and you guys can list everything, then I'd probably put alternate as well. And there is a line on the DITA form if you wanted to for alternate. And then the other one would, that I have seen a lot of issues on is the solar advisory and questionnaire. Be very careful going through it because there's a lot of questions and you should always have that selected if you're clicking any, even if you're, because most of it's clicking yes. Because you're saying, yes, there might be a law, or yes, I know who I had this installed, but you should always have explanations. I've had it be sent back and forth like 4 or 5 times just because we're waiting for answers. I'm like, how do you not know who installed your system? When they were 2 kids, so.
Can you use the line?
No, the FHPS and solar has not been installed into the line yet. They're working on it. It just takes so long because of the contingent questions. They're planning on doing it according to all the groups I'm a part of, but it's just a really long process and they're probably gonna do the FHPS before they do the solar, because that's a different one. Which is ridiculous. It's good. But if you guys don't know, you can do in DocuSign, radio boxes are the best friend. So, you know, if you go in and you're having them answer through DocuSign, not through Glide, you're probably putting check boxes. Don't put check boxes because that will give them the option to double check. And you never want them to do that. So a radio box on there is where you put it'll give you a little circle and then you drag the other circle to the no, and if they check yes, then it automatically moves you to the next one. There's no option to be able to go and check.
That's why it gives you 2 circles. I always have to delete that other circle and then I go to radio values and say yes.
So you can check, you can't use checkboxes on them, video box, right? Because the checkboxes are not set up.
They could do both.
Okay, you might need to.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah. Are you still on the solar or are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go back. We can go back.
So with Sky Slope, EXP, the BIE is not a required form.
Correct.
And now the WFDA is also not. What do we do? Do you know what we're doing about?
So the VIE has never been a required.
I know.
form.
It was
So,
a
but
KW
they
was
a line item. They added a line item.
Yes, they did add it now.
So you
it was
can
not
just
on there
throw it
before.
on there, but it's not required. It's not even showing up. It's like,
Yeah.
if you want to, and if you receive it.
And I'm glad they added it as an option because before it was not even on there.
Yeah. So if it's not on there, I always just put it in additionals.
Okay.
I just throw it in there and usually there's a stockpile of a bunch of ones that they don't have on there because they're still working through their kinks. So if you go to a vacant land purchase, that'll have a lot of the documents that they still need.
Right.
And even new construction ones, they don't have a lot of what they need under there for the manufactured home. So I just throw whatever I don't have a line item for that I know is required into the additional.
Now, do you know why? I'm not getting this stuff. So with the BIE, it's a TC minute. Okay, so with the BIE, it really, when you look at the form, it's covered in so many other forms. Why do we still do it? Yeah.
Because you're showing the buyer what is. It's
Available.
You don't do it?
No, I
No,
don't have to
so-
do it either, but I know a lot of people still are doing it and they're requiring it.
What's the money?
Big thing going.
Because in the contract, it's states that there's any investigation there anyway.
Correct. So the reason that I always learned why the BIA was required from Eric Christensen was that it's giving them a list of everything that might be available for them to inspect. Because there's no document that actually has everything listed. It's here and what here's the things that you can get inspected for, and then you can hit. Exactly, and then they can check the box if they decide not, but however, if you check the box and they decide not to get it, a BIW is required.
Right.
So that just makes it a little more convoluted. So you can just say, hey, I received it. And the reason why they're signing it, even if they don't check anything, is because we've received it. You're acknowledging you received it and don't put it there.
Okay, that's a good explanation.
Yeah, so you're just telling like, hey, here's what's available. These are everything that you might possibly want to have inspected. You don't have to have anything done here, or it might be already done. But you're, yeah, exactly. So I had a lot of people just leave it blank and then sign it. There's a lot of people who still do use it, and that's fine,
And then there's a lot that don't.
but there is none other documents, even though they are referenced, that actually list out every single inspection that you could possibly have. I mean, they don't have solar on there though. That does not have the list of what you could.
Yeah, it doesn't have a list.
Yeah, this just gives you an option, like,
Yeah.
here's-
Yeah, Boston. That's not-
But it's not, also not itemized.
it's not-
Yeah.
it's not- yes, it's
It
not-
makes it easier when you have it one page and you're like, here's what you could have, rather than here's 16 pages. Figure out.
Yeah,
what you want.
that's true.
It
You have
is-
the WFDA.
I answered.
Oh.
We'll see it already answered.
Any idea?
No, okay.
it's
Never
a
lied.
really-
Huh? No, the FHPA is what.
The the W.
So I have just Andrew's file. It was on there because it's a vacant lot, which is the
Oh.
only one that hasn't actually listed as required.
Yes.
It's in the middle of Durham.
Yeah, I was
It's
like, why
not
do we-
going- I even wrote it on there, I was like, it's not in a fire zone, it's not on the MHD,
More
like.
water on that lot.
It's gonna be flooding, rather than it's gonna burn, like, it's gonna be put out pretty fast, and they're like, no, it's still required regardless.
Well, I think the WFDA said that so the air could be polluted. Cause it states that. in
It
the
does.
WFDA, So that's why I was thinking, it should be it should be a required form in the whole. Maybe we should
The
make it
one-
EXP.
Well, the one thing is, every single reviewer in that spoken with, is they don't know what's around here. So a lot of the time, they're spread out across California. We get ones that are from like Southern California, reviewing our files up here. So a lot of times they don't know that, like, especially in Paradise, they have no idea. So if you guys don't put it in the TOP or the FHDS, they're gonna have no idea at all unless it says it on the NHD. So you just have to use your best judgment about what you know in your area and be the expert yourself, because they're not going to. They're only gonna require what they see on a contract and what might be built out from that. So that's why that is on there. And they're like, oh, well, you're in Northern California, everything burns. Well, okay, well, Durham does not, especially in this house. I'm like, this is a big enough that this is not like.
Nothing to burn.
No, there was nothing to burn to that place. She's like, nope, you still have to get it. Okay.
They're making us use something off their advisory as well, which is really annoying, because the words on that are cut and pasted by the MCA.
Are you still running into an issue of that being up every single time?
Just not every time, but the last one, because it's cash, there's not a present or non contingency. And they want an MCA and just like.
I do an NCOA with every offer.
I do enough paperwork, I don't want to do any
Yeah,
of that.
I do it with every offer. It's just going on now.
Nope, they don't, it's not a requirement. I know Tracy Cooper does include it every single time just so he has that. I think it's a great form because it's saying, we're putting a lockbox on the property. This is exactly what, people have access to. And there's a key there. Yeah, but it actually explains a little bit more, and they're signing off saying, like, I authorize that there is going to be a lockbox there. Because if you're, look at the listing agreement where it says no lockbox and no sign, it's very, very. Most of the time they're skimming over it. They're like, oh, I don't even see that because I forgot the box on a no sign before. I'm like, oh, whoops, that's really small. I missed it. Any other questions? Sorry.
No, but it brought up two things for me. So this was interesting. The NHD, we got an NHD on property in Orville. And it said it was not in a very high fire date, it was moderate or whatever. So the buyer said, absolutely not. It's in a very high fire and that's what my insurance is charging me. And I was like, no, it's not. The NHD says it's not. And he's arguing with me. So anyway, it doesn't matter what the NHD says. Because the insurance companies go by their own thing. So that begs the question to me, like, then why are we even doing the NHD? And then Tasha Reimel from Fidelity had mentioned to me, she goes, I've seen it where too many NHDs come back different. Correct.
Oh, wow.
So just FYI, it doesn't mean shit.
So use your best judgment about where you know of where the fire was or where it could go now. And if you see a discrepancy on the NHD, reach out to the rep for that company and they will look into it and they could adjust it. More than likely what they do is they spit the number into a computer and it sends it out. But
But it
they're not
doesn't-
necessarily updating their maps all the time. which is why there's 3 different maps on there.
So it's interesting though, so like, this was the day we were closing, and I just
Oh,
happened
yeah.
to be talking to the buyer, and it was like, well, no, that's not what it says, cause I remember looking at it, cause I was curious, is this house in a high fire area? Cause I know like Kelly Ridge is not, it's moderate, and, this wasn't in Kelly Ridge, and so anyway, it just brought up that whole can of worms, and I was like, well, why do we even do the NHD if it does, if the insurance companies are using their own form or their own system map, why does it even matter? I mean, it's another $99 that somebody's gotta pay for. I don't know, this kind of makes me either.
Which company?
It did.
I like Property ID. It has the most, it has the highest insurance, like, coverage on it. So if there is a discrepancy, especially after, you can go back, like, for the dam, I sat with Colette for a while and she explained how, there was NHDs sent out on properties that are surrounding the dam, and then the dam, the spillway broke, and so they got flooded. So they immediately updated their NHDs. So they're working a little more diligently with their lawyers to update them more frequently. I don't mind disclosure source, but I don't think the insurance coverage on those is as accurate and as high, because they were actually helped pay out some of the damage, because they were like, oh, well, I said there wasn't gonna be a flood. Well, we didn't know that was gonna happen, so then they kind of helped out, so.
Oh, wow.
You can reach out to Colette or any of them and they'll sit down and we'll have a conversation. Yeah, I like property ID. Yeah, I like property ID a lot.
The last thing I learned too, this is supposed to be Katie's TC minute, but she and I had talked about it on this, land offer. The guy wanted me to count the money, this proof of funds, but anyway, so when my seller countered, she wanted him to pay the agent fees. And so I talked to Katie about it, then I called Tasha, and she's all, no, I've seen it on an addendum, I've seen it, whatever. So I went to the broker chat on Workplace Chat, and she said, no, you cannot do that. The agent compensation is between the broker and it's a part of the listing agreement. You cannot reassign it. So maybe other brokerages allow us to, but EXP does not, just over. So I thought that was interesting.
It was listed on the MLS. We had the agreement that said that it was going to be the total listing, the total commission, and then the buyer did was gonna receive this. Nikki was gonna represent both sides, and so I was like, well, because it was a lower offer, I want the buyer to pay all of the commission fees to you instead of the other way around, even though we had a listing agreement.
Yeah, so.
She's like, have you ever heard of this? I'm like, well, like, I mean, I have, if there was 0 commission or whatever, maybe, or.
If it was- Absolutely.
Yeah, you could negotiate where, yeah, and in this case, I was like, I don't even know what to do. She's like, okay, I'm talking to the broker right now. It took a few, like,
Yeah,
but like questions to
Yeah.
get to the answer, but she was like, nope.
yeah,
Straight, no, no.
no.
So you can renegotiate the amount, but you can't reassign the who pays for it.
Yeah, not as
Even
part
if
of
you
the
renegotiate
amount.
it, I would say you just need to buy it.
Yeah.
It's like,
You'd have to.
if you have a listing
you'd have
agent,
to
that might
cancel
be,
it or redo it.
like,
Or do a full modification saying that there's no compensation being offered for it, and then, but you'd have to guarantee you in a contract for that.
Well, you
Otherwise,
have to-
your modification goes back.
Why
You
would
can't
you
reverse
not
anything.
accept compensation?
You wouldn't.
Yeah, okay. It was like.
You wouldn't, so that'd be
Yeah.
a no-no.
Yeah, okay. Right, right.
But however, you're not supposed to do that either.
You have to have something
Or you
there,
you have to have minimum, EXP fees.
otherwise there's
on
no
there.
preventative from.
We had the same issue on.
And that's
Tracy.
weird, because then you end up getting a check for the difference back to yourself. But, you know, it all works out.
She ended up, so in that case, he just ended up writing a personal check to the title company and then had the title company pay out EXP for the fees. So it went that way, worked. I'm like, I don't know how to fix the paperwork because we're still doing 0. She
Yeah.
wrote a personal check, so they finally like cleared it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what we did.
That's a lot of work to do.
Here's all. Yeah, so you just tell them like, hey, I'll write you. Be done. Any other questions?
That was helpful. Thank you.
I'm here if you guys have
We
questions.
should have like a TC chat sometime. Cause there's always. Every escrow, there's something that comes up. I'm like, what? I don't know. Especially those ones that like, you just don't do it. Or.
Yeah.
you have on the side, you making mistakes.
Then you're like, oh, it's changed. But it's already-
Yeah.
It's okay. If you have questions, you can call, text me. I'm here.
But it would also be good if you put it on Slack or something so the rest of us could learn. As well.
Maybe just create like a channel
Yeah, and
on
then-
Slack,
oh,
within
Slack
Slack about
you can do.
TC questions or something.
Tips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listing, yeah, whatever.
Cool. Thank you.
Of course.
Market stats, so done these before, but this is Chico single family residences only. And we're comparing April 2023 versus April 2022. Reason we're doing that is to take out any of the seasonality that goes on. So you can see a lot of red, one green recently in this cell. So it's the pattern that we've been seeing. April's kind of this is going to be the last month where it was before the market started shifting really. So as we go forward in months, we're going to start to, like, that's going to be more telling. Like, this isn't really giving us any information we haven't seen for months already. New listings down by half. You know, everyone's out there. Probably that lock-in effect, like it costs people more money to get a replacement property. So people are making fewer discretionary moves. The people that are selling now need to sell generally.
That's what I'm dealing with right now.
They're
I
not-
actually just talked to you about it, yeah.
They're like needing to buy and sell and not wanting to.
Right, right.
Total listings, so you see that's down, but not by as much as the new listings. That's telling us the homes are sitting on the market for longer. So total listings, that's the number of listings that were active at any time during that month. Number of sold homes, 63. This is probably the one that people are feeling the most, down 44%. That's actually a little bit improved versus March, where we were down like 50% year over year. So we've had an actual spring. We're still getting some seasonality, albeit at that lower level.
Do you think the sold homes is down because things are taking longer to close? Cause I mean, I'm seeing plenty across my desk and I'm feeling the same that I did last year, but it's just like, hey, extension, not cancellation, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I think I think a lot of escrows are falling out now. I think a lot of things are. Yeah, it's just like harder to
No,
get.
they're not.
Yeah,
I think I just have one.
yeah,
And then laundry is taking. Yeah, that's something.
yeah. So I think there's sold homes, a few things. But you gotta remember as well, this is what closed in April. So these are the people that were writing offers in February and March. I think going forward, like anecdotally and what we're feeling, it seems like we've got a lot busier the last few weeks. So I suspect their stats might be a lot more level with last year. Yeah, I think we've had like the last 4 or 5 offers, and been like multiple offer situations. People are still being selling multiple counters and like our buyers. They're already paying so much money with the interest rates. They're feeling like it's slap in the face when the sellers come back and say, come in with your highest and best.
Yeah.
Like, that was, and that's been the answer that we ended up going back with. So, you know, I think people are, there's a lot of people out there now that still feels like they're acting like we're in a different market. I think, like it's taking everything we've got to not have is just walk away when they get a sell multiple count like that. Because they don't want to put themselves through the emotion. They're like, they want to take control back and be like, well, I'll just walk away. And it's taking us objection handling them just to stick with their original offer. And I think like just for sellers, making them mindful of that and not behaving like it's 2021, 2020 still.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Median sales price down 2.6%. Not much really, considering the affordability, it's hasn't really in median sales price, median dollar per square foot. It's like this one because it averages out when we started to see the market split and the higher price homes were sitting for longer. This kind of gives a feel that's like adjusted for the size of the home and the price point. I think the median price per square foot is probably more reflective, being down around 5% for prices last year. That when I'm doing CMAs and things like that seems to be probably more correct than the 2%. I think we're down. And then the days to sell slow down. That's actually a lot faster though. Over the winter we got to like the median days to sell. Again, I think people are reacting. Sellers are, for the most part, are starting to get the message, seeing things priced a little better. And it's gonna be next month. It's gonna be more interesting than this. This is still, we're still comparing the shifted market to before it shifted. So, and then do next slide. So if you're feeling like things are more difficult now, this is probably why. So I've done this the first 4 months of 2021, 2022, 2023 compared. You can see we've got about half the sales volume, assuming there's 5% commission available on every property that sells. We've got about half the amount of commission available out there in the market right now. So if you're feeling like it's a struggle, that's probably why.
The struggle is real.
Yeah.
Real.
But you know, these stats, they are the market stats on the whole. That doesn't mean your GCI has to have halved. Like
Yeah.
that's not what's going on. Every agent out there, their GCI has halved. Some of them have doubled and some have went to zero.
Mhm.
Some people put.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of.
Have you seen that? Have you seen like a couple people?
Yeah.
I've definitely heard a lot of talk about people.
Wasn't it like half? I was in December.
Yes, yeah, I mean, on an overall picture, I mean, half of our business is usually refinances. A lot of our office, we try to focus more on we work hand in hand with real estate agents, so we do more purchases than most offices. But a lot of the big companies, they own so they're the ones really hurting on it. Yeah.
Did you give an honest, like, how are your applications coming in? Are they lower? Cause I feel like we've heard from
Yeah.
one or two, like, oh my God, they're amazing. We were having so many, but then like you talk to some, they're like, no, it is like dried up.
Yeah, I would imagine it's kind of similar, like what Nick was just saying, as far as like some people are doing double the volume compared to before, and some are doing nothing now. And so we're definitely down.
Okay.
In a normal month, normal is like prior to 2020. 6 mortgage applications a month, 6 to 10 was like a really, really
For
good
you
month.
as a
For me, yeah.
independent person, okay.
Yep, 6 to 10 was like awesome. In 2020, we were probably up to like 12 or 13. And now we're probably down to like 3, maybe 4 a month is a good month still. So we're definitely around half
So
probably.
it's like this,
Yep.
you're saying about the same.
Yep. But yeah, no, and it's just different stuff. A lot of it's the need right now. It's like, I need to move into a new home. It's not so much like, oh yeah, I could trade up or like sell this house, move into this. It's like, I have to move for work or I have to move for family. And so it's a lot of getting creative and finding different options. So, but it still seems like the same amount of work.
Yeah.
So.
More needy. clients.
So this is that available GCI as well. That's every effective, like everyone, like all of our partners in the industry, lenders, appraisers, everybody out there. There are fewer transactions, like the volume's smaller, because the transactions are of more value than they were. So effectively, when you do a deal now, if that same house would cost 5% more a year ago, had a 5% pay cut. That's how it's coming out. But I think like I'm putting out there to be like doom and gloom, putting out there to say like it is real, like it's not unexpected this is happening, but it's just kind of going back to the basics. Like Yeah, Erica does these backwards, was the P and L things, 411, so being like super focused, knowing where your money's going, that's what we kind of want to focus on.
This just validates, I think this is, so thank you for that, because it just kind of validates, like, instead of people going, oh no, there's the same amount of work, you're just not getting it, it's just like, no, it's.
There's less work.
Yeah.
The first 4 months of last year, we closed one deal. We've done 6 this year. Like, so it's not like the market's the market, it's doing what it's doing. But like what you're doing in it is like, you know, that's like what's on you. It's not, it doesn't get, like, I'm not gonna say that's not important, it obviously is, because it doesn't mean you can't do more business, it just means it's more competitive.
Yeah.
We're just looking at harder to close the deals, like, but you can look at it like, that's a bad thing, or you can look at it like it's a good thing, because 12 months from now, you're gonna have well less competition, because when people are renewing their licenses and paying to do that, they're probably not gonna do it. It's not like a full-time engine. Like a lot of people are just gonna drop off by that.
How many of you did the Krista Mayshore? The Krista Mayshore? Are you guys using any of those tools that
I will be.
you learned?
Yes.
So like the Krista Mayshore coaching, it's about marketing, digital marketing. And I think if you just take one thing, like the video text, like the video text.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I'm saying is really funny because it was.
Uh-huh.
And we, on the 3rd day, were all just
Oh,
like.
I said it was overwhelming.
Even Tracy, I
Yeah.
called her on the 3rd day, she called me, she's like, I couldn't even watch it anymore, I had my.
Yeah.
So
I
I
watch
watched
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing.
One thing.
Yeah.
One
There were
thing.
several things that I liked. If I had $24,000, I would go, here, you
Well,
do it all.
right.
I would love for you to do
That was
that
a
all.
big
I'm
chunk of change.
Sure, that would pay for itself.
Right.
sure.
The lead funnels and stuff, and maybe one day I'll do that in a couple of years,
Yeah.
but right now.
I know.
That was a big sell.
Yes.
But I ordered a gimbal thing, a steady cam, I ordered
Perfect.
lights, and I wanted, I was like, that's. Cause my thing is, I think I'm better in person
Mhm.
than just being like, hi, we've never met
Right.
each other, do you want to sell your house? Like,
Yeah.
I hate them, but I think if I send them a video, it's like, oh, this person's
Yeah.
nice, and nobody sends me video.
Yeah, I love
texts.
that. Yes.
I really like that, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna invest heavily in that.
Stop sending me video text.
Yeah. For practice, yeah.
Don't.
You were right.
I was driving.
Oh,
But I have a really good stand up literally just right next to my door.
yeah.
Saying I
Feel
was
that you're
like,
finished.
Awesome.
it's right there, it's fine.
Did you have anything else to add?
Just gonna go.
No.
Yep.
With these stats, like with the numbers and stuff, I think like, I see like a lot of like social media content that is people putting out these numbers, but the reality is like, you speak to your clients, most of them don't know, and they don't care, really, like, those numbers, they don't mean anything to them. Like, what's actually important is like your ability to explain those numbers to your clients, and like, what does it mean for them? So like all of the things that you're normally hearing, it's about time to buy, it's about time to sell. It's being able to like look at those numbers and use them to give you like the facts to underpin what you are giving your clients as advice. So are people like comfortable with explaining these numbers and things to their clients, or
How would you explain it? Give me an elevator pitch.
what, so give me the scenario, like you
What's going on right now?
How's the market?
How's the market?
Yeah. I like, I think that's, but it's. So I think about why I don't want to be.
So if they want to talk, it's about listening to what they're concept. That's it. Well, I heard that. That's great news. You're gonna have less competition now than you've had for 4 years.
Mhm.
Like, that's great. Like, that one's super easy. If they're worried about competing, because there are fewer
People-
sales,
fewer
people
fish.
buying. If you look, our listings are sitting on the market for longer. Now,
Mhm.
that's not to say there's no competition, the homes that are well priced, are still selling quickly. But there are bargains out there and there are deals to be had right now in a way that there haven't been for a number of years. So if they're worried about competing, address that. If they're worried about their monthly payments, like one of the things, it's like insane, but I hear it over and over. I'm not gonna buy now, I'm gonna wait for rates to come down. It's like, okay, that's a great idea, it's such a great idea, it's the same idea that everyone else has.
Yeah.
So what do you think's gonna happen? We've seen it, and we've seen it this year, and by keeping on top of this, you can tell your clients, like, we actually saw a little dip in rates, about 0.25% at the start of this year. And all of a sudden, the market got really hot, really quickly, and we're kind of feeling it now, this is what's causing the multiple offers, it's a small dip. What do you think's gonna happen if rates go down 1%? Whereas, what if you could buy now, and then you can refi on your own schedule? If you think the rates are gonna go down, then that's probably what I recommend that you do. If you want to actually benefit from the current market conditions and the lower rates, because you're not gonna get both. You're gonna get lower rates, super competitive market, or a slightly easier buyer's market and higher rates. And the other one is like, if they say they want to wait for rates to come down, just kind of drill down on specifics, like, okay, what would you like to wait for rates to come down to? What if that takes 10 years? What if it takes 20 years? Because we're like right on the historical average right now. So it's just kind of using some of these pieces of information, like knowing that rates are on the historical average, it's just giving you the ability to educate a client that is taking like sound bites from the news instead of like, oh,
Or their neighbor, they're all too high and the interest rates are too high.
I've been showing them the price decreases because I was like, wouldn't you rather pay less for this over the term? You're gonna pay less overall and then you can just refinance and then you're getting the best of both worlds. So do it now before and you're not. That's the thing I tried to hammer.
I saw, of course, like a meme or video that some realtor did, I don't know what it was, but it was like, last year they bought at, 2-3%, let's just say that was their, maybe it's 2021, anyway. And then they were saying, no, I'm gonna wait until prices or rates go down, and then if they waited until now, their mortgage would be $1,000 more a month. And it took me, I actually watched it, because I was like, I don't, are you saying what you're supposed to say? But anyway, but yeah, it's like these people that were wanting to wait, like, well, by you wanting to wait, it just cost you $1,000 more a month.
Yeah.
To-
You don't know where it's gonna go, yeah.
Right.
Then you can always.
Well, then she had a client this morning that was like, I'm just gonna build my own house. I was like, well, good luck getting the materials for that. Yeah, no, I said, I was like, refer to a contractor and have that conversation, because that'll nip that right.
Yeah, she was like,
Quick.
I don't think this is a seller's market and I wanna build a custom home. And I was like, I sent it to him, I'm like, what do I say to her?
Great idea.
It's a great idea.
A few years ago, that would have been great.
Would have built 2 houses.
Right. Maybe three.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, anything else, Nick?
should we do like, for this script thing, should we do like some market, like update things, like how to do market updates into objection handling?
That would
Yeah,
be
so-
amazing,
Yeah.
but not this Friday.
This one we're canceling.
Yes, to next Friday.
Yeah, I am. Well, unless somebody wants to do it, I'm out on vacation. and
She'd
then-
asked me.
And then
I
she forgot, and Erica's gone. So, but if somebody wants to lead it,
Well, if people are showing up, it's gonna create, is anyone planning on going?
right, we just can't use the office.
I can't this Friday.
So you can meet and like out in Stovall, like in the cafe.
Does anybody want to meet or will this?
Does
anybody
anybody-
want to-
I'll put it out. I'll put it out.
I tell ya.
I'm busy. Celebrating my clearly. Yes.
But, for the next, meeting, like, would you mind, joining
for us?
Yeah, it's gonna like kind of like give me like some live,
Yeah, we'll just,
like,
we'll do it.
like give me some like live objections. Like,
Yeah.
kind of-
Right.
That's how I go through a thing and then, you know, rather than trying to make. notes.
Okay, so we'll shoot you questions, kind of like what we, or what your
want.
clients have been asking.
Yeah,
for.
like-
Yeah, or
like
the
what-
text I got this morning.
What do you run into, like, what question, like, you said, and you're like,
Mhm.
like, answer that, or, yeah, so that was like. I was trying to, you know, like, qualify it, like, a lot of times people don't want to spend. It's like, varies by area, but in Chico, if you were spending like less than $350,000 on a home, you're probably gonna be spending more on maintenance than if you buy.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it was kind of like falling that into the conversation. It's like, okay, we're shopping in this price point and it's costing you like $3,000 on your monthly payment. If you try and save $200 on your monthly payment by shopping at a lower price point, you could end up spending more on the maintenance and things. So it's like particularly important, I think, for like first time buyers that have never like dealt with the cost of like running a house and paying for the maintenance and placing a water heater and saving for a new roof and those kind of things. Yeah, it's just helping them understand the finances of buying a home.
Yeah, our clients.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then we got Cameron. Yeah, like it's like it's paying so much. It's like, and that's why I think like having the script issues. It finds confidence. It's really making a difference because before everyone was just like, yeah, I ran off because I can't sell it with on board. Now we're asking like, double the rent, double mortgage, double what they pay rent on the properties, which is
Okay, we'll come up with some scenarios. So it'll be the next Friday.
yeah. If you give me ahead of time,
Yeah, that's, yeah.
I'll use some actual like numbers and stats because you only like there's a few stats that like if you learn them they become like applicable like over and over.
Rates are too high. No, it's a lot of, again, but Nick, what you were pointing to, it's opportunity and say, hey, there's not as much competition right now because everybody's waiting for rates to come down. So that's definitely something that we're kind of into is like, hey, you can get the best of both worlds. You can buy now while there's less competition. Be ready to strike if there is a home that's priced well that you like. Chances are it's going to go quick. There are a lot of buyers on the sidelines ready to go. So we'll have your pre-approval dialed in, ready to go, get the house now. I'll keep you updated as far as rates and everything, kind of try to do a monthly update with any past clients and stuff. Say, hey, here's where we're at, here's where we're going. Maybe a good time if we can save a couple $100. Refinances are always an option. They do cost money, so we try not to do them overly unless it's necessary, but
What do you normally use as like the expense?
it varies. I mean, the larger the loan amount, the more significant of a discount you get. Try to do at least half a percent. So if you're going from a 6 to a 5.5, if it saves $200 or $300 a month, it might make sense. Or if you want to wait until it goes lower, but there's no general rule that you can stick to for that. But I would try to aim for at least a 0.5%. Make it worthwhile. Because usually, I mean, refinance costs are less than closing costs on a home purchase. So you can do the math pretty quickly. Say, hey, it's going to cost you $3,000 to do a refinance, but if you save $400 a month, it's going to pay itself off pretty quick.
What's it gonna do? Like that? Oh,
Yeah, I know typically closing costs, when you're purchasing a home, you save maybe 3-4%, kind of includes all your title and escrow fees, setting up your new impound account. I have kind of a quick little spreadsheet that I just plug stuff into, but usually I'd say like $1,500 to $2,500 for title and escrow on a refinance. maybe $1,500 for lender fees. So you're looking at, I 3,000 to 3,500 is usually general rule regardless of loan amount. And then if they want to buy points, that's different too. So everybody knows what mortgage points are. Kind of familiar with those, so, yeah. Nice. Yeah,
Cool.
3,500 bucks is what, like, if you're just like, hey, for your own math, hey, 3,500 bucks. That's what I'd kind of say off the top of my head, worst case. scenario.
350.
10 payments will pay it, cover its own cost, and then anything beyond that. Yeah.
What they wanna pay.
Mhm. And
They
it,
wanna shop. It's right around, they're like, oh, I don't pay that.
yeah. People are at the top of their budget, they say, hey, you can afford $2,500. Can't go much. And so if rates go up 0.25%, like, you're going down in purchase price. And so it's kind of just having that conversation, like, hey, what payment are we trying to stick within that will work with your budget? And then just be like, I recommend for any of my pre-approved clients, like, if you guys see a home you like it, like, let me know. I will put together the scenario, say, hey, you can either do it or you can't. And like, the numbers work or they don't, but just get us involved. We're happy to help. And again, find the right home. And even before you spend the time driving your client out there to check it out, say, hey, can you run the numbers on this for us? It takes us 10, 15 minutes at the most. Down payment assistant one might be a little bit more involved, and you have to check and see like what their particular brokerage stuff is, but usually it's pretty quick and easy. And that way, you know, before you even go there.
We've been like anything. Like, and then now there's like homes in the market that price probably correct for the market, and our buyers are like wanting to buy it from the last bid. I mean, it's like 2 hours in the market.
Yeah.
Like if the sellers come to a decision with their agent, they get that work. Like, saying that it's not worth out on day one. Or not sold.
Well, they're not gonna do that. Or they'd have time to prove that. or not.
Awesome. All right. Good.
Oh, the app.
Oh, you can add to it?
Yeah, from your.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they had.
They're right here, so
Oh,
that's all.
Yeah.
No, all they're added, but they're also part of it too.
You can do either, I think.
Okay, real quick before they leave.
Yeah.
Can we go to house accounts real quick?
Sure.
And then we can go back to those other.
okay.
It's that one. Passport.
I got that. Just came on the market. It was originally, Tony's floor plan. I don't know if you guys remember what it's a 3-2. But the original lady that owned it, opted to not have that slider in the kitchen. So the countertops wrap around and then they put a little door, like in that dining area. And there was a fire in the master bath, from a candle, so that's been updated, but not updated with the model because they went with like an antique style. So no shower. That was yeah.
It sounds fun.
Does anybody have a multi-family property coming up, like two
Just came on the market.
Lori Lambert's, but it's
Yeah.
only one.
Center-
I need like two legit houses,
Big house.
like a
Compound.
3-2 and a 2-2.
Where?
There's one on Godman.
Somebody just did a post on Fairlawn Valley Facebook page, it was like a day or two ago,
Okay,
and there's like 3 or 4 people saying they have something coming up.
oh, cool, okay, I'll check that out. There, Chico, Durham, Dayton would be fine, but yeah.
Butte County Central.
Yeah.
What price?
Well, it's probably gonna go up. I think they were up to like 600, but now they're gonna go with their sister. So it's gonna be like a family and then her sister and her husband.
So they're gonna like.
Mhm. So they'll live in one, sister will live in another, and I think it's just the sister and her husband. But so the one on Godman, if you guys are familiar with that one, that was one we looked at, but that place is a piece of shit. So it just needs too much work.
Always tell you.
Shit, under carpets and stuff, but.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a Keith Hopkins one, it's on hold right now, but we're authorizing offer for them. It's $339, it's a 3.2 that the garage has been converted, so we're still usually. Oh, yeah. It's in that HOA, it was like $25. No parking, so.
And you get an HOA binder. You cannot get an email. FYI. They will not email you the HOA. And it's like this is a stack and she does not give a binder. It's just, here's the paperwork.
Interesting.
So scanning that was.
I have a lot. What is it? It's 3 point.
Oh,
Yeah, the 2 parcels, it's on Canyon Drive. Would it be good for, yes. 75, but that's an offer. It's seller, I hate that term seller price, but it's seller price. SSP. Yeah,
Is it residential or is it hobby farm? Or?
it's well, it's dirt right now, it's residential.
Is it?
Yeah. It's right outside, it's actually an amazing piece of land. It's beautiful. Yeah, on the one side, on actually all 3 sides except for the front.
Can they do,
And it's.
Oh, it's raining.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
There's animals all over, there's a horse, like 2 doors down, 2 parcels down, there's a horse property, there's horses across the street.
Yeah, they usually don't have that many people. And it was over there. It's not that big.
Yeah, I know, it's like,
Over there.
yeah, it's flat, and it's usable acres.
But you have to, it's completely unapproved, right?
It's unapproved.
Okay.
That's not, we buy it.
It's not good.
Good. If you need, if anybody wants financing options on it, we don't do them, but I know lenders who do land finance, you just need like 25% down.
Okay.
That's a 30-year loan, so it's pretty.
Yeah.
reasonable payment.
Okay.
So, we don't think
Yeah.
that-
Then you gotta build a house on it.
But yeah.
Yeah, everybody wants to build a house.
That's what we-
Area of the house.
Yeah.
You're down to 3.
And it expired, and then maybe it's not renewed license, so, it's Winnie Mouse's old list. And I inherited, yeah, I inherited complaints.
But yeah, she's
Okay.
She does really never cool.
She's doing, yeah.
how's the time for this?
The new build? Yeah, it's, yeah. No, it's, you know, it's, we're not getting a lot of.
So well.
Yeah.
They know really well.
Yeah, they gave them a 30-day
Everybody
just to see like if it would break through. And
Yeah.
Everybody that, so we had broker tour, had a lot of agents.
What was
Broker tour, and lenders. And I asked everyone, like, what do you think about the price point? What do you think? So everybody seemed to think it was overpriced.
Mhm.
Really? Yes. Everybody.
Free issue for a new. And is that's.
Okay,
local,
but that's not
right?
solar, so
Yeah.
the solar's on top of that, so
Right.
if you add another 17.5 for solar, unless you're gonna do a PPA, then it's just gonna be a lease. You have to go through setup.
Yeah.
And that's $15,000 credit if you go with their lender. The thing is that what we're getting is that, all of the bedrooms are upstairs.
Yeah.
So there's no bedroom downstairs, and that it's very generic.
It is.
There's no
So the thing that people like about new builds is they can pick their countertops, so they can pick their wall, you know, the paint color. Or the floor color, or it's nothing, you get to, you pick nothing. There's no options. And the, like, you know, the showers, like, everything's an insert, like, there's no tile. There's no, the faucets are all like very bottom.
Yeah, the-
If that's what they call it.
Yeah.
So it's, and that's the feedback I'm getting, that's not what I'm making out, it's like, that's the feedback that I've been getting, that it's overpriced for that.
Mhm.
So if there were some custom features to the home, maybe it would be a little bit higher, but they're, you know, 482, when you talk about putting solar on it, that's over 5 for the first time.
Yeah.
Payment.
It's a big
Yeah.
ask. Yeah.
It has 32 hero stairs.
Oh, are you?
Mm-mm.
No,
Right against the highway.
it's, now it actually, you don't feel like it's 32 when you're downstairs, but when you go upstairs, you can see Highway 32. The actual great views you have is if you go out your front door and you see out. The other side. Yes. And that, you're just telling, and that's what you're is doing this, we're just trying to get some feedback for them. And,
I took a buyer to their area of Eaton, and she was just like, I don't want to, all of those lots are gonna have construction on them, and I'm gonna be living in a construction zone for the next
Right.
2, 3, I mean, we don't know when that's happening. I was like, I wouldn't, right there, I wouldn't want to buy this for that.
From the Bay Area or
It's
a place
yeah,
where they're not from here, they're from a city, it's more, maybe a little bit more desirable than for someone in Chico who's like, oh, I wanna buy a home.
It'd be a great downgrade, except if you're getting older, you don't want all
Upstairs.
stairs.
So you
Yeah.
have like, oh, you know, they're like, oh, we need at least a bedroom downstairs, and there's not even an option to know.
Yeah.
Make a bedroom, and then the garage.
Yeah.
If you were to convert.
We have so many cute homes in Chico that have so much character, so we can see, because there's part of me that's like, I totally get like, yeah, I don't have to make any decisions, all the
Yeah.
decisions are made for me, that would be awesome. But then when you look at, we have such cute homes here.
Yeah, and for
Yeah,
500,000, you
yeah.
can get a really cute home in Chico.
Yeah.
With a nice sized yard.
Yard, and yeah,
So it's just,
yeah.
yeah. So it's been a good experience for Erica and for DRR.
Right.
Yeah.
I think.
So, but.
I
Yeah.
I'm looking for a buyer, under 300, he's a flipper, so it can be, you know, old and needing wood.
Piece of shit.
Mhm.
POS.
Where is
Anywhere in Chicago, he doesn't really know, yeah, he hasn't yet, he was doing some things more down in there, and now he wants to live in Chicago.
We have a buyer about once.
Oh.
If he wants to buy it.
All the work. Oh, let me know. Something else, maybe, no, that's, yeah. Yeah, so, and then I also looking for something under 400 for an investment property. And then, a piece of land over an acre,
Horse ranch over $48,000 for 5 acres.
but they need to be able
That's
to.
a really great.
Is it flat?
It's gently sloped.
Across it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
flat. It's like very
And then
easy grade.
it goes across the road.
He needs to be able to, there is a stick house on that road, so. He needs to be able to bring his animals.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be perfect.
Selling my lot for, up in.
Where
in Paradise? Thank you.
what do you got? We have stuff in the nice paradise. So we-
Oh.
it's still on, so it's still maybe well.
Oh, okay.
Somebody said they were
looking for a condo, I thought I heard somebody needed a condo. What did you? One time, I think, I don't remember what it was. And it's.
We were looking for a condo for a buyer, but we got one.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Maybe, so we had a, yeah. Three nights, I know, 59.
What's that?
Anyone
Anyone else going once, going twice?
I had need, my client that want, Hancock Park, they now want a pool.
Oh, they're the
Um,
one.
With a pool, under 60.
Maybe I'll-
That should be doable.
Yeah.
Okay, price is doable.
It's doable, but yeah.
I just put this in here again because we've gotten some more questions again and there were some newer agents. But if you guys don't know who to ask within EXP, just call them or email them and they can help you.
Who's the expert?
Always the one.
Basically, you're a concierge, like you're gonna go in, that's your front desk person. Hey, I don't know who to talk to, like, can you guys put me, so they'll direct you on like where to go
Do
and
they have someone in there that can explain KV core questions?
Not in this one.
not within EXP, but they'll tell you like, oh, you can email, like I inside, yeah,
Oh,
support
you-
it inside
that's who
real
to go
estate.
to. Okay.
Yeah.
Email
Yes.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard to know which one to like, some of them, I don't know, they just go.
Some of them are
Like what, and then.
yeah.
Is that, yeah, I just finished
Yeah,
those and that
then
was
there's the extra one,
mind-blowingly,
yeah.
So Erica decided to cancel her class next week just because she's had a lot going on. So we will most likely reschedule that one. But that one's canceled. The Fairway Lunch and Learn has been moved to May 23rd.
And do you know the topic is on that?
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't yet, but I know Lisa was gonna be working on that, and sending that out, I think, next
Does
week.
anybody have anything they want?
Good lunch.
That's fair enough.
You wanna learn how to-
About the lending industry, it seems to be something
Yeah.
new and that's, I can use, like, you know, just because it's not always something that that's top of mind for me. Yeah.
And then 411 coaching on the 30th, and then I put this one up here. This is Bill Pipes. I know Erica would want me to tell you guys it was Bill Pipes. I didn't know it was him. I thought it was somebody else. He is an awesome trainer. So if you guys want to carpool down to this one, I think if you're gonna go to one of the events, I would recommend going to this one. It's the 25th from 10 to 12. It's free, and that's down in Rockland. So Bill Pipes is just an awesome, like he really is a world-class trainer. So, and it's free. Like he charges a lot for his coaching. So I would go to that if you can.
I swore off coaching, but no, I just mean any classes, like
Yeah.
I'm taking classes for, I need to
Yeah.
implement the stuff I've
Exactly.
done,
Yeah.
that's the problem. I'm taking too many classes.
Yeah.
Time to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
All right.
Anybody have any last like words of wisdom or anything positive they want to end with?
Say go to Miles on Friday, y'all.
I'm thankful that
Yeah,
I feel like it's very generous with their knowledge and it just feels very non-threatening to ask questions and it feels like it's easy
safe
things.
space.
So I appreciate it.
Did I appreciate it?
I like running the-
I love running the meetings. I do. It reminds me of when I worked at Chico State.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's a little bit, isn't it funny how like, I mean, this is a meeting, but like how your lives, your previous lives kind of
Gotta
come
come
in
into
and play, you know, a little bit of everything. So, for sure. Okay, thank you all. Thank you,
Thanks for having
Natalie.
me.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah.